the DeLorean time machine from Back to the Future.
Is this the actual one from the movie?
No, this is a replica that I built. Just a huge fan and the ultimate movie car.
So you still want 6,000?
You know, I know that you guys need to make your money too, and I understand that. So yeah, I'm very comfortable with 6,000.
6,000 it is. Write them up, chum.
Union Soldier's Civil War Jacket. Alan walked into the shop holding a Civil War jacket that he found among donations for a high school theater.
Well, I've got this uniform jacket in with some costumes. We do some high school productions, and we get donations in periodically. And with that came this Civil War jacket.
I mean, if it's real, it'll be really cool. I mean, it's from Civil War. Well, it's definitely cool. Should you know anything about it?
Actually, I don't. It was just in a bag of clothes that we got in, so I have no idea where it came from or any of the history on it.
You know, quite frankly, it doesn't shock me that someone would just throw this in a bag and donate it. You wouldn't believe the amount of stuff I buy off people that they just find in attics.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, the Civil War was mud, it was sweat, it was horses. It's not nearly as romantic as they make it out in the movies. You know, it's just a rough, terrible existence as far as I'm concerned. It looks really old. This looks like a Civil War cavalry jacket.
Yeah.
But I don't know. You know, my big concern about it is it's just looks too good to be true. There's not one moth hole in it, and I mean, there's really no scuffs. If this uniform is real, it could be worth some serious money. But this thing is in amazing shape for its age. I know there's a lot of people who make these for reenactments, so I have to be careful.
Rick thought it would be a great find if it turned out to be authentic. The jacket looked very old, but it seemed to be too good to be true. There were no holes or scuffs in it.
What do you want to do with it?
Well, if we can get money for it, I mean, that's money to put toward the school for other things.
Okay. I really like it. Civil War stuff is cool, and
Okay.
it sells.
Sure.
I'm going to call my buddy, and if there's any guy in the world who will know about this, it'll be Mark.
Well, great.
Rick decided to call Mark. Mark arrived and examined the jacket. He explained that many Civil War uniforms were faked, but he found inspection marks that suggested it was real.
Well, this is it. This is what I called you about.
Okay. So can you tell me how you came up with this?
Actually, it was donated with some costumes for a theater production. So we know absolutely nothing about it.
Oh, I hate to tell you how many times I've seen things that have gone into costume collections that really shouldn't have.
I mean, it just looks too good to be true, and
Yes, you do want to question it. There are a lot of reproductions, there are a lot of costumes that have been made. In order to tell whether this is real, what I'm looking for is, what kind of materials they are, how they're put together. These are inspector's marks. That means that it was inspected as it came into the military. That's what should have happened. Now that's a little interesting. You normally have loops here that the belt would have gone through. That doesn't necessarily mean that it's not original to the time period. The reality was in the Civil War, we were outfitting a huge army from almost nothing. So we were buying from anybody who could sew these things up. And Civil War uniforms are somewhat notorious for having variances from what the ordinance said. When you wore this, you wore it with metal shoulder boards. This doesn't show any sign of ever having shoulder boards on it. Even for the fact it doesn't have the loops, doesn't appear to have ever had shoulder boards, I think it's real. I think what you have is a Civil War Model 1854 uniform jacket. My guess is this was worn by somebody behind the lines because it is in wonderful shape, or that it came out of surplus.
He believed the jacket was a Model 1854 and might have been worn by someone behind the lines. Alan hoped to sell the jacket for $1,000.
okay, so what are you looking to get out of it?
We talking $1,000 or?
I really believe in an auction I can get $1,500, $2,000 out of this thing.
Wow, that's
But
impressive.
there's a lot of fees with an auction.
Well, sure.
And I have to make a little bit for my time, effort, and risk. $750?
Go $850?
I'll tell you what. I'll go $850.
Great.
Okay?
Thank you. I'm really excited to learn that this is real because it's great for the school, but it's going to change my whole look at things when things come in. I ended up settling today for $850, so it was a great day.
After some negotiation, they settled on $850. Mike contacted Rick about selling a broom handle Mauser pistol. Rick agreed to meet him at the gun range. When they met, Rick was excited to see the Mauser. It was one of the world's first semi-automatic handguns. Mike thought the Mauser was from 1897. Rick called Alex to confirm the age.
You must be Mike.
Hey, Rick, how's it going today?
All right. Broom handle Mauser, right? It's been a long time since I've seen one of these.
There it is.
There we go. This is one of the world's first semi-automatic handguns, and boy, it's goofy looking. As a matter of fact, it's so goofy looking. You ever see Han Solo's blaster? It's just like this with a scope and a few other things put onto it. So I think it's super cool. I mean, how much were you looking to get out of it?
Well, if it's the real thing that I'm hoping for, I'm hoping to get about $9,000 out of it today.
Okay. So have you ever looked up the serial number and figured out the year on it?
I tried to work on that, and from the best that I can tell, it's going to be somewhere around 1897.
That's something we definitely have to look at. If it's 1898 and back, it is merely a collectible and everything else like that. 1899 and newer, it is a handgun just like a brand new gun. So if you don't mind, I'd like to get one of my guys out here to look at it.
Let's do it.
All right, be right back.
Great.
Alex confirmed it was indeed from 1897, which made it an antique. They fired a few rounds and the gun worked perfectly. Alex estimated the Mauser to be worth $7,000, which was lower than the $9,000 Mike had hoped for.
So this actually was a weapon of choice during World War I for German officers. It's pretty much iconic. Later on, it was used all the way through World War II. It's classic German engineering.
Okay, so what do you think?
Okay, so you can see right here somebody stamped in a serial number, 11073. Now this is good news. So the 11,000 series, that means it's 1897, no question.
All right.
So second year of production, very early, very nice. Low serial number, antique, so you can buy it, which opens up a different market of collectors because there's a lot of guys who don't want to deal with something that's legally a firearm.
All right, so what do you think it's worth?
I think it's at least 7,000.
All right, thanks, man.
Rick and Mike negotiated the price, settling on $4,400. Rick was satisfied with the deal and felt confident that selling the Mauser would be simple.
So, the 9,000 is not going to happen.
All right, what can we do?
I'll give you $4,000 for it.
About $6 grand.
No.
Come on, Rick, you can do it. It's a great piece. You're not going to find another.
Like 43?
45, we got a deal. Come on, 45.
We have a deal at 44.
Deal at 44.
Deal at 44. All right, sweet.
You
Guys,
got
all
it,
right.
man.
Back to the Future replica DeLorean. In a special episode of Pawn Stars, Bob brought in a detailed replica of the DeLorean time machine from Back to the Future.
Hey, how you doing? All right, you guys buy cars, right?
Go to the back lot in the alley. I have a roll-up gate. Pull it inside.
Okay, I'll go get it.
All right.
The DeLorean time machine from Back to the Future.
Is this the actual one from the movie?
No, this is a replica that I built. I'm just a huge fan, and it's the ultimate movie car. When I was old enough, I bought a DeLorean and just started tinkering with it, and after about 10 years, you end up with this.
Can we take it for a spin?
Sure.
Rick admired how it looked, but mentioned that there were mechanical problems during a test drive.
This thing looks pretty futuristic, but underneath, this is some ancient technology.
Yeah, this thing lost its appeal, Rick. It's hot, slow, and it smells like gas.
Yeah. The downside is it rides just like an old DeLorean. But there's plenty of upside. It grabs your attention and it has that nostalgia factor. Judging from the looks we got, someone's probably gonna want this.
How was it?
I mean, visually it looks really, really cool. Mechanically, it's a little rough.
Bob spent 10 years building it and wanted to sell it for $100,000. Even though Rick liked the DeLorean, he was unsure about paying $100 grand due to the cost of fixing it. Rick and Bob couldn't agree on a price, and the deal ended up at a standstill with an offer of $10,000.
So how much you want for this thing?
I've seen cars of this caliber sell for upwards of $100,000.
Okay. What do you want for it though?
How close to that number do you think you can get?
Like 10 grand?
I get $10,000 worth of time circuits in the dash. Even if it was a stock DeLorean, it'd be worth twice that much. 80?
No. I will give you like 10 grand for it, and I'll try and do something with it. You know what? All I can tell you is thanks for bringing it by.
Even though the deal didn't go through, the DeLorean time machine kept its special charm and left the shop with a bit of time travel magic. Tyrannosaurus teeth. Eamon brought 2 Tyrannosaurus teeth to the pawn shop. He mentioned that these teeth came from an older formation than most T-Rex fossils. Rick called in a paleontologist for verification.
Hello, sir. How are you?
Pretty good. How you doing?
Oh, good. I think I got a couple things here you might want to look at. We got a couple of teeth here that belong to tyrannosaurs.
Tyrannosaurus Rex?
Not T-Rex. These are an odd species called Daspletosaurus from the Judith River Formation of Montana.
Okay.
I have no idea if they're real, but they're really, really cool.
Oh, thank you.
How do you know for a fact these are Tyrannosaurus teeth? Both these are from a Tyrannosaurus, but not Tyrannosaurus Rex.
No, sir.
How do you tell the difference?
T-Rex is only found in specific formations in Montana and South Dakota and Wyoming. So this is a little bit older, about 10 million years older than where T-Rex comes from.
The expert Andre checked the teeth and identified them as Gorgosaurus and Daspletosaurus, not T-Rex. He valued the larger tooth at $10,000 and the smaller one at $3,000. Eamon was excited about the valuation since he hoped to get $6,000 for both teeth.
Well, we have Tyrannosaurus teeth.
Wow, they're pretty nice. Those are pretty unmistakable. Do you mind if I take a look at them?
Yeah, please feel free. Absolutely.
All right. You know, it really looks like you've got two different Tyrannosaur species that existed side by side. I think this is Gorgosaur, and this is definitely Daspletosaurus. I mean, this represents the two titans of the time. We're talking huge predators, 35, 40 feet long, monstrous.
All right, so the big question, what are they worth?
The market for Tyrannosaur teeth has absolutely exploded, and you don't get to see teeth like this very often. So the big tooth is easily worth $10,000, the little one about $3,000.
Okay, thanks, man, I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
We'll see ya.
All right.
Rick offered $6,000, and surprisingly, Eamon agreed right away without any more negotiation. This showed how unpredictable the pawn business could be. Rick was pleased to add these rare prehistoric pieces to his collection.
So you still want $6,000?
You know, I know that you guys need to make your money too, and I understand that. So yeah, I'm very comfortable with $6,000.
$6,000 it is?
Okay.
Write them up, chum.
All right,
Awesome.
come over here.
Thank you.
Vintage pinball collection.
Okay, I've never seen video games like this small. And 3-year-olds actually play these?
Anyone can play them.
Okay. So we have Donkey Kong, which was 1981 at Nintendo. And Miss Pac-Man was like the best-selling arcade game ever, right?
Must have been, yeah.
So where did you get these?
So I make these here in San Francisco. It actually started because I have a tiny apartment, so I started making these custom little ones. But the basic idea is that they're the real hardware from the actual arcade game, just in a custom tiny cabinet.
Okay, and this one right here has the 1981 board?
Yep, and I can show you there's a way to see in the top.
Oh, that's super high tech, yeah. Okay, I'm impressed, because I used to play these before you guys were born.
Yeah.
Rick went on an adventure to get some arcade games. He found small versions of classic games like Donkey Kong and Miss Pac-Man. Matt wanted to sell them for $8,000 each.
Do they work?
Absolutely, we can turn them on.
Sure, let me see them. It's been a long time. Yeah, been a long time. Okay, how much?
These ones I'm currently selling for $8,000 each.
$8,000 each?
Yeah.
I understand you got to make them and everything else like that. They're new. Do you have any things like vintage or older? These are just not for me. It's too expensive. They're brand new. I'm looking for used stuff. Maybe for myself, or that maybe I can flip.
But we got a bunch of pinball games at the arcade.
You guys got an arcade?
It's mostly a pinball arcade. Have games from the 60s, 70s, 80s.
A pinball I'd be interested in. I'll get your information and come by later this week.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Awesome.
Yeah.
However, Rick thought the price was too high since he preferred vintage items. Matt mentioned he had a pinball arcade with many old machines. Later, Rick visited the arcade, which had about 60 games.
Huge collection here.
Yeah, we got about 60 machines here. Definitely the largest collection in San Francisco.
Okay.
Here is the Pirates of the, is it Caribbean or Caribbean?
Pinball machine looks cool. I mean, you got a lot going on there.
Absolutely. This game right here is one of the, where they crammed almost as many toys and features as they possibly could. You have this ship that rocks back and forth, and then if you lock a ball into that back sector there, it puts it into a cannon and fires the ball across. Yeah, there's a lot going on with this game.
So the price is?
$27,000.
That's a little much. What else we got?
Let me show you over here.
He looked at a Pirates of the Caribbean pinball machine priced at $27,000, which Rick found too expensive. He then checked out another machine, the Riverboat Gambler, and after some negotiation, Rick agreed on a price of $3,000.
This brings us to a really cool machine, the Riverboat Gambler.
I love the whole Vegas theme here. Kind of cheesy, but I'm from Vegas and we embrace cheesy.
Okay. I like that.
Well, I'm super impressed with it. So how much you want for it?
$3,400.
Okay. Not $2,500?
Maybe I'd go as low as $3,200.
I'll make it easy. I'll do $3,000 and I'll take it off your hands.
$3,000 out the door. Deal.
All right, sweet. We got a deal.
You got it.
Okay.
Follow me.
Okay.
This one, cowpoke, is really special, actually. From 1965, Gottlieb. And the reason that this cowpoke is so special is that there's what's a feature called an add-a-ball. Before that, on regular pinball machines, it was, you get your 5 balls, your dime, your nickel, your quarter, whatever it was, and then your game is over. But on add-a-balls, if you were good enough, you could keep the game going as long as you wanted. So, and you'll hear it, and every time it adds a ball, the horse kicks and the dude spins.
Okay. I like it because most 1960s pinball machines had spinners and some targets. That was it. It's just got a lot more going on. How much?
$5,500.
I'll tell you what, I'll give you $3,000 for it.
Ooh, $3,000. So I'd be in more of the realm of letting it out of my collection at about the 4.
I'd go like 32.
36.
3,200.
Tell you what, I'll do it. I'll do $3,200.
Sweet.
Finally, Rick also offered $3,200 for a special pinball machine from 1965, and they made a deal. Aztec Death Whistle. Steve visited the shop with what he believed was an Aztec death whistle.
How can I help you?
I got something really cool. I have what I believe to be an Aztec death whistle.
Okay, looks like my boss on a good day. This is really cool. It looks to me like it would have been an Aztec death whistle, and I don't know if that's something that the Aztecs called it, or if that's just something that it was named for after years and years of studying it. There's a few speculations of what it could be used for, healing, and some people say it could have been used for ceremonies. These things sound horrific. You mind if I touch it a little and look at it?
Yeah, please.
So these would have just been made out of a kiln-fired clay, small cracks that are typical, in clay firings.
Hoping to sell it for $500.
I'd like to have someone come check it out. If this is real, it's probably worth more than $500.
Yeah, sure, that'd be fine.
Chumlee found it interesting and wanted Bob to check it out. Bob was excited because he had been looking for a real death whistle for more than 30 years.
What do we have today?
Well, this gentleman says he has an Aztec whistle, and looking at it, it seems to be in the style of a death whistle to me, but this kind of stuff is much more commonly faked, so I do have my concerns.
So out of every authentic Aztec whistle, there's got to be 100 fakes. So from here, it looks fabulous. God, wow. I have been looking for these for 30 plus years. I've read about them. I've seen pictures of them. The opportunity to actually see and have one in your hand is like finding the Holy Grail. The things that I'm looking for specifically, there are these little black dots on here. And those black dots are the result of manganese, a mineral being leached out of the soil and growing onto the pottery.
And how long would it take for those black dots to start appearing?
500-600 years. Absolutely authentic. The value was really predicated on whether this works.
You want to give it a whistle for us? Well, it works, and
Wow.
I imagine that's how it's supposed to sound.
It's real. Because there are so few of these on the market, I can easily see this selling for $5,000.
Whoa.
Bob's long search made the discovery even more special. After examining the whistle, he confirmed it was real and estimated its value at $5,000. Steve was surprised because he wanted to sell the whistle for $500.
You don't want the 500 anymore, do you?
The $5,000 sounds a whole lot better now.
2,500 is going to be my max.
2,500, huh? I think I'll take it and maybe see if I can sell it someplace else, knowing the better true value of it.
All right, well, I'll tell you what, as long as the market stays the same, my offer will stand. You can bring it in and get 2,500 anytime. Just ask for Chum.
That sounds incredibly fair.
All right.
$2,500 does sound good. I think I'll take this whistle and try to sell it someplace else.
Chumlee offered $2,500. This was 5 times more than what Steve initially asked for. However, Steve refused the offer, deciding he wanted to try selling it himself instead. Chumlee couldn't believe that someone would turn down such a generous amount. Sun Tune-Up Tester. Paul brought a Sun tune-up tester to the pawn shop. He explained that he used to be a tune-up mechanic and found the tester at a community college.
I got something that a car guy just can't live without, and it's a Sun tune-up tester.
Haven't these things been replaced by a laptop?
No, I think they've been replaced by a smartphone. Where'd you get this thing?
Back in the day, I was a tune-up mechanic and used one of these, and about 10 years ago, I tried to find one, and I found a community college that had 10 of them in a lot.
So you wanted one of these pretty bad. Why?
Every once in a while, you run into a problem, you just can't figure it out. So you can either replace all the whole ignition system, or you can take a scope like this and put it on there, and you can fix exactly what the problem is.
I mean, back in the day, this was a really big deal. You really needed one of these to work on a car.
So how's this thing work?
It's pretty simple. This measures volts and ohms. This measured how much vacuum you're getting off a tachometer. And is that an actual oscilloscope?
It basically is an oscilloscope, yes.
It's a lot different nowadays. I mean, literally, you can just plug into the car and it'll tell you the coil pack is bad on cylinder number 7. But back in the day, you needed all this stuff. There wasn't as easy to test a motor. This thing is pretty outdated in terms of technology. But on old cars, some mechanics can actually use this.
Rick and Corey examined the device, realizing it was outdated compared to modern technology. They decided to test it on a car to see if it still worked.
Should we just hook it up to the car to see what it does?
So this arm swings out.
I feel like we're about to go into surgery or something here.
Oh, nice engine. You're seeing where the points are opening and closing, and this is the coil that's firing. And we can see the spark plugs, and they're all pretty even. That's pretty good. Now, if we want to see, if we suspect one cylinder's bad, we could turn one cylinder off.
I'm impressed. It's definitely cool that this thing still works, but it's still a tough sell. I gotta find a guy who still uses equipment like this.
After checking, Rick was impressed, but thought it would be hard to sell. Paul wanted $600, but Rick offered $200.
So how much do you want for it?
I'm thinking 600 is the bargain of the century for you.
I'll give you $200 for it. It's so outdated. There's so few people in the world.
Well, how about 400?
I mean, I just don't know if it'll sell, and it takes up so much space.
How about 300?
275.
Well, as long as you promise not to tease me when I cry when I have to leave this here, it's a deal.
No problem.
They settled on $275. Afterward, Corey and the old man joked about the purchase, saying it cost too much.
It was the stupidest thing you ever bought.
It is not stupid.
What the hell are you two talking about?
Okay, I bought like a 1970s, 1980s old school car analyzer.
Might as well go throw it in the trash.
I have a buyer lined up.
Who?
Danny.
Why would...
What did you pay for the damn thing?
$275.
At times you're a friggin' idiot.
I don't understand why I never get any love in this family. It's ridiculous.
Good to see you, Corey. What you guys call me down for?
I got something really cool. I want you to come and check it out. Just buy it.
All right. This is cool, man. It looks like something out of a laboratory. It talks to old cars. I like that. You can check your compression on each cylinder with this as well. It helps you tune your carburetor.
All right, $1 million question. You want to buy it?
It's cheap enough and it does work.
What's your definition of cheap enough?
$500.
How about $100?
I'll be honest with you, Danny. I paid $275 for it. Give me a profit.
You may have overpaid for this.
$280. I'm only making $5, and I buy drinks tonight.
How about $100 cash right now, and I'll buy the drinks tonight?
Just admit it. You paid way too much for this thing.
I'm never going to admit anything. I'll see you tonight.
Thank you, brother. I'll see you tonight, man. We'll have a good time.
Okay, sometimes you gamble and lose, but I doubt if I'll ever hear the end of this. I guess I just gotta wait a day or two till my son screws something up, and everyone will forget about it anyway.
Rick thought he could sell it easily to Danny, but when Danny came by, he only offered Rick $100 for it. In the end, Rick decided to accept the offer. Cock document. Lisa walked into the pawn shop holding a signed document from John Hancock. The document was from 1787 and it was framed with a wax seal. Rick knew it was worth a lot, but he wasn't sure about the document's authenticity, so he called in Dana for help.
What do we have here?
It's a signed document from John Hancock.
It says, His Excellency John Hancock, Esquire. We got His Excellency's command. I don't know who this is right here.
What is this right here?
That's a wax seal. What they do is they put hot wax down, put a piece of paper over it, and then press a seal into it. Back then, there was no phone, there was no telegraph, there was nothing, and you wanted to make sure the document was legitimate, and this legitimized it right there. These were very hard to fake. What were you looking to do with it?
I'd like to sell it. I don't have room.
I mean, this looks like John Hancock's signature. My big concern here is he's the governor of one of the most populous states in the Union. He's got a lot of things to do every day, and back then, it was pretty common practice for your secretary to sign everything for you. So if you don't mind me having someone come in here, check it out, just make sure everything's legit.
No, I don't have a problem with that at all.
Dana confirmed that the document was genuine and worth between $10,000 and $15,000. He believed it was a rare find because it was linked to a Revolutionary War hero, Abel Boynton.
So, Rick, what are your concerns about this particular document?
My big concern is I want to make sure this is John Hancock's signature, and also I don't think this is anybody right here, but I don't know enough about this thing.
Let's take a little closer look. This is John Avery, secretary. That's what that says. And so he is endorsing this entire document. It's filled in to an Abel Boynton. Wow. This document is more important than perhaps you have any idea.
Really?
This is a great document, giving him a captain's commission later on, probably for his earlier services during the Revolutionary War. Really cool. The paper is on period, handmade laid paper. The typesetting is like many others I've seen in the past. So after looking at this and examining all those aspects, I would say that this document is absolutely authentic and real.
Really?
Yeah.
Cool. All right.
Yeah.
All right. So what do you think it's worth?
This signature of John Avery as secretary, John Hancock authenticating it, made out to Abel Boynton, I think it's worth easily $10,000 to $15,000.
Man, you hit the jackpot.
Lisa was thrilled with the surprising news. Rick offered $4,000, and after some negotiation, they settled on $5,000. Rick scored another jackpot. He could easily make 3 to 4 times his investment.
So how much you want for it?
I want $8,000 for it. It's obviously worth it after what your expert said.
It's worth a lot of money. You can more than take the risk yourself and put this in an auction somewhere and see what you get, or I can pay you $4,000 right now. No risk, no nothing, you're paid.
Right. $4,000 is not enough. You need to bump it up a little bit.
Well, how much more do you need?
$6,500?
45.
$55.
I'll give you $5,000, and I can't do no more.
Okay, you got a deal.
Thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed the show and got something out of it, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Really helps us grow and bring you more content like this. Drop a comment below with your thoughts, and be sure to hit the notification bell so you never miss an upload.